Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese find themselves in similar positions after AP's announcement or report. Amidst college basketball legends like Diana Taurasi and Cheryl Miller, one name always squeezes in: Caitlin Clark. To mark its 50th anniversary, the AP named its 10 best college players of all time, and Clark earned a spot on the first team. What sets her apart is that she is the only one without an NCAA title alongside Taurasi, Miller, Breanna Stewart, and Candace Parker. As analyst Ashley Nicole Moss points out, if Clark deserves this recognition, it also raises the question of why not Angel Reese? If we're making the criteria more fluid and looking at it from more of an encompassing mindset and not necessarily putting so much impact or emphasis on hardware for a team sport, because obviously at the end of the day it takes more than one person to win a championship in any sport. Moss said on the We Need to Talk podcast, "The value of titles in basketball has long shaped how players are remembered. Many argue it's unfair to weigh championships heavily when a player has limited control over the outcome. Caitlin Clark, for instance, led Iowa to back-to-back title game appearances, a first for the program, while putting up record-breaking numbers and making a significant off-court impact. But by the same logic, Angel Reese also deserves consideration, highlighting how individual dominance can sometimes matter as much as team success. I can absolutely make a case for Caitlin Clark. I could also make a case for Angel Reese. Because Angel Reese, although maybe didn't have the breaking of the records like Caitlin did in her college career, she does have the hardware, and people were talking about her in college just like they were talking about Caitlin, maybe in different ways, but the impact was there and the narratives were there and the social media clips were there and the brand deals were there," Moss further said. Reese didn't make either of the teams, but she likely fell a little short on and off the court. Reese spent the first 2 years in Maryland, with her rookie season being injury-affected. She moved to LSU in 2022 and went on to win the title in her very first season with the team. Reese finished her career averaging 18.6 points and 12.3 rebounds, while Clark had 28.4 points and 8.2 assists. Clark dominated the circuit when it came to scoring, assisting, and outside shooting all 4 years. That's something Reese couldn't catch up. Also, the difference in their career assists numbers is stark. Reese had 1.9, whereas CC had 8.2. Talking about the impact, Reese had the second most endorsements across all college sports at one point. Her social media was booming, and the name Angel Reese was trending day by day. Unfortunately, it had to be next to Caitlin Clark because she blew the roof off women's basketball. Almost every game featuring Clark had millions of viewers with sellout crowds. At the conclusion of her college career, she was proclaimed the GOAT of TV ratings by the Wall Street Journal, which wrote that her impact on television viewership exceeded any other modern athlete. With this criterion in mind, Angel Reese probably makes it to the second-team bench, along with other stars like Aya Wilson and Brittany Griner. While that may be true for college basketball, the dynamics of the WNBA are changing day by day. Could Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark flip all-time WNBA spots? It's abundantly clear that Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are two of the most talented youngsters in the WNBA. Both have had record-breaking 2 years in the league. Clark has had better success with the Indiana Fever, while Reese's Chicago Sky has struggled. But their individual performance has been somewhat at a similar level. In her rookie season, Reese averaged 13.6 points and 13.1 rebounds along with 1.9 assists, while Caitlin Clark upped her with 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds. However, year 2 was a different story. Reese continued her development while averaging 14.7 points, 12.6 rebounds, and 3.7 assists. On the other hand, Clark had her campaign marred with multiple soft tissue injuries that have the potential to hamper her entire career. Lisa Leslie, who is a fellow victim of the groin injury, says it still bothers her to this day. So, there are doubts whether Clark can come back as the same player going into 2026. Clark is currently ahead when we talk about popularity and the impact, but if her performance wanes with time, Reese can capitalize. On the court, she is already demanding results from her franchise and could move away to get them. Off the court, she is making her mark as a basketball player and a model, becoming the first sportswoman to walk the Victoria's Secret fashion show runway. It was a landmark moment in her dual career, which would lead to even more opportunities. She is setting the benchmark for WNBA players who want a career beyond just basketball. Of course, there are a lot of twists to come in this Clark-Reese rivalry since both are just starting. Reese is quickly leveling the playing field with Clark. It's a possibility that we will judge their WNBA legacies through a different lens than their college careers. They might come from different places, play different roles, and showcase different strengths, but Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese now find themselves occupying strikingly similar positions in the landscape of women's basketball, especially in the wake of a recent landmark announcement by the Associated Press, AP. Essentially Sports Plus One lets explore how their journeys converge, diverge, and what this parallel moment means for both of them and their sport. A moment in time, the AP announcement. Earlier this year, the AP commemorated its 50th anniversary by naming its 10 best college players of all time. Clark earned a coveted spot on the first team, joining names like Diana Taurasi, Cheryl Miller, Breanna Stewart, and Candace Parker. Essentially Sports. What stands out? Clark is the only one of those first-team players without a national championship. So the question emerged, if Clark merits that recognition, shouldn't Reese? The logic: if impact and legacy go beyond just trophies, then perhaps Angel Reese belongs in that elite conversation too. Essentially Sports. Thus, the announcement horizontally raises the bar for both athletes, one honored directly, the other cast into the what-if conversation. They now sit side by side in this moment, high visibility, big expectations, and a spotlight on legacy rather than just next season stats. Parallel trajectories, converging paths. Despite their differences, their paths now share key themes. Instant cultural icons. Clark's college numbers were off the charts, averaging 28.4 points and 8.2 assists per game in her NCAA career. Reese averaged 18.6 points and 12.3 rebounds. Essentially Sports Plus One both became more than players. They became symbols of the next wave of women's basketball, of new media attention, of athlete brand power. Massive visibility. Clark's transition into the WNBA brought mega viewership and sold-out arenas. Similarly, Reese's star power lit up social media, endorsements, and crossover appeal. Essentially Sports Plus One the result. Their careers are being followed not just on the stat sheet, but in marketing, culture, and brand narratives. Pressure of expectation. With acclaim comes questions. For Clark, when will she win that title? For Reese, can she sustain and dominate at the highest level? The AP list magnifies that pressure. In short, they're no longer just rising stars, they're standard bearers.